Because you are watching this lecture, this means that you have learned all the concepts of manual testing. You are now ready to be responsible of testing a whole project on your own, beginning from requirements analysis, test scenario writing, test case writing, test execution and defect reporting, then at last test progress, then lastly test monitoring using test progress and summary reports. We also discussed the manual tester interview questions so that you be prepared both practically and theoretically for the interview. But when you go and apply for a job, whether it is a freelance or full-time job, then you pass the interview and begin working on your tasks, you will find some terms that you don't understand, like user story, product backlog, scrum master, or the product owner. Who are those people? Sometimes you are asked to create the acceptance criteria. We did not discuss all of these terms in our project. Why? Because those terms and concepts and roles are part of Agile project management. So as a tester, mostly you will be part of an Agile team. More than 80% of software development teams now are Agile teams. This is why you need to learn the basics of Agile project management, because you will deal with the product owner. The Scrum Master will assign tasks to you. The user requirements will not be written in the form of SRS, PRD, or use cases. They will be created in the form of epics, user stories with acceptance criteria. Test planning also will be different. Instead of creating risks for the requirements, you might find something that's called story points. And one of your roles might be to participate in the planning poker. This is why we need to learn the Agile principles in this section. This section consists of two parts. The first part is theoretical. Here we will discuss the concepts that are introduced in the Agile environment. Then we will move to a tool in order to apply what we learn. In some points, we will focus on software testing, okay? How software testers work in an Agile environment, or how does testing occur in this part. But in other sections, we will be talking generally without mentioning software testing. Why? Because those information like explaining Scrum, for example, are generic. Any person in the team should understand them, and there is no difference between the tester and developer in learning those concepts or terms. So before we talk about Agile methodologies, let's imagine the world before Agile methodologies. We had the sequential software development, which we discussed at the beginning of our course. In sequential software development, each step of the project is done sequentially. You finish requirements analysis, then design, then implementation, then testing. The whole test process is inside the testing step. Testing is a separate activity. But in Agile, the project is divided into small iterations, so you might apply the whole test process more than one time inside the same project. So why do we need Agile life cycles? Why don't we keep using the sequential models like the waterfall or the V model? This is because of something that's called cone of uncertainty. In any project, at the beginning of the project, the uncertainty is large, okay? You are not certain of your results. There are many risks like we see here, and you shouldn't spend a lot of money. If you spend a lot of money at the beginning of the project, this money might be wasted. The project might fail and you don't get any revenue. But while the project is progressing, the uncertainty increases because you gain more information about the project. In this case, you can spend a lot of money and you can make promises. So one of the important techniques in Agile is dividing the big project, which is like 1 year or 6 months, to small iterations. Each one of them is 1 week or 2 weeks. Why? Because in the iterations at the beginning of the project, we do not spend a lot of money. We create prototypes, small projects, while we don't have high amount or high percentage of certainty. We also don't make big promises. And while the project progresses, iteration after the other, we begin to spend money and make promises. This is not possible in sequential life cycles. So who created Agile methodologies and how? In 2001, a group of gurus and software engineers gathered together for 3 days and created something that's called the Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto consists of 4 values and 12 principles, and those are the basis for any Agile methodology that you will see. So in this section, we will begin by discussing the 4 values of Agile, then the 12 principles of Agile, then we will discuss the different methodologies and techniques that are used in Agile software development.